more forehead than that.
It's like zhuzh it up. Yeah.
Well, I tried to pull it down. And I was like, that don't look right. So I said, I need a little bit more.
That's the true auntie wig, because the auntie wig
Right.
be a little too
all the
low.
way, all the way down. It'd be like this much forehead, inch and a half. Your part all the way to your eyebrow. Thinking you cute.
I can't tell her nothing. Be like, auntie, why your wig so low?
This is style. What you mean? What you mean?
Be swearing she cute.
Look, be like, I'm trying to hide from you kids.
I said, look, I need some forehead. I'm sorry, but let me pull this all the way back. I need something.
What do I say? What do we say?
Hey,
community.
Here's what's brewing today.
Kicked out of bed.
Man, fuck your ex.
And Sha Carri's that bitch. So get your cups ready for Minority Report.
Hey, welcome to Minority Report. It's Auntie Carell.
And it's Auntie Dewan.
And it's Auntie Jarrell.
And y'all, we was having a whole good ass conversation. We're like, hold on, push record. But Jarrell, what were you just telling us?
Well, I was saying behind closed doors that it's so hot that I'm getting the thigh sweat. So like I can't even like I get out of my chair and you heard like
that hot car in the summer, like hot look in the summer.
You know, like literally thighs for days are just peeling off.
Ooh, that's the worst.
Yeah,
that's crazy because like I see y'all have been hot for a while out there. Like I think you guys are warmer than Atlanta right now. We've been having like storms left and right for the last month. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean but let me be clear though. Hot is like 90 degrees. Okay. Yeah. You know, like we don't get crazy. Yeah. But with the elevation out here, the sun slaps a whole different way out here.
Yeah, I bet.
And we live on the top floor. So like our ceiling is so hot. There ain't nothing above us.
Yeah.
So girl, I'm roasting.
That's the worst, just being hot. Like I'd rather be cold than hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least you could like put some layers on or something, you know.
Right. Look, now that article makes sense about 1 in 4 couples sleeping in different rooms. Because I'm like, bitch, I get it. It's too hot. You got to go.
It's like, move.
No. But like,
it's a whole different situation when you got it like that. When you got an extra room for somebody to sleep in.
Right. It's like, man, this whole, but you know, it's interesting. So like I think it was USA Today had an article today saying 1 in 4 couples sleep in separate bedrooms. And I was like, that's interesting. Cause like my parents slept together. Corey and I sleep together. However, there have been some nights where like either you mad at each other or you know,
you got to go not too far. You can go down the hall.
Right.
That's what you got to go.
You better stay in the house, but you gonna go to another room.
Ooh, could you imagine being home and then somebody your man leaving? The next thing you know, you hear the door creaking open.
Like, where you go?
So
you gonna leave me, Anime?
Oh, you gonna
leave me?
Seriously. But like, is that weird to sleep in different rooms?
Okay,
like,
but to be fair, in the article it talked about the reason why the 1 in 4 that they were talking about was because like sleep apnea,
right?
You know, insomnia, like it being too hot or too cold in the room and stuff like that. Like those are the reasons why 1 in 4 people sleep in. But girl, you better suck it the fuck up. You ain't sleeping tonight. I wish I
don't know about all that.
Let me tell you. So I had to learn because I used to first. All right, y'all. Auntie Henny, she snores. But she snores because I have a big tongue and a small jaw, and the tongue actually goes down my throat, and that's what causes me to snore.
Oh. Okay.
Listen to her flexing.
So look at her putting her fucking insurance to work this year and going to get checked the fuck out.
Did you get a CPAP machine?
Actually, I just ordered it yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's on its way. Yep. So I'll be using one of those.
That's
but that's why I snore. And I used to feel some kind of way when I would wake up and I'll turn over and I'm like, what the fuck is where'd he go? You don't just leave me in the middle of the night, you know, like
he said while you're over there cutting the fool over there.
Logs.
Right. Okay.
My ass needs some sleep.
Look, that would be me.
But between my sleep apnea and his insomnia, like it's just a really bad recipe for him. Yeah. You know, so I was like, well, at least I can do is handle it on my side. Right. So if you ain't sleeping, that's just because of you at this point. Like I'm over here laid up.
Right. Good.
Roll over.
I don't know that.
That's a lot.
But
Corey wakes up early every morning. Like he wakes up probably at 3-4 o'clock. Like his body just wakes him up. So I'm used to waking up with him not beside me because I'm like, don't get on that damn phone. Don't wake my ass up because I'm a light sleeper. So it's just kind of been an agreement forever that like, okay, if your ass wake up, or even if I wake up early before him, I try not to wake him up because I know it's hard for him to sleep late. So I'll go to the other room. But usually we'll go to bed together, like 99% of the time. There's been a handful of times. Yeah. But I guess if you don't have another bedroom though, like how do you determine who's gonna leave the room? Like who's gonna get the couch and who's gonna get the bed?
That's my
I just
situation.
know it ain't gonna be me. It just won't be me.
It's me. It's me.
It ain't me.
It's always it's me. And I don't care. Like I'm not. Look, you can stay in the bedroom. I don't give a damn. I'm getting good sleep tonight. I'm telling you about that. And I don't have to sleep on the bed in order to make that happen.
I love that. That's too funny.
Because I'm like you. Like I'm a very, very light sleeper. Like I can't have light. I have to. All the little electronics need to have their little red and blue dots covered up. You know, we have those blackout curtains in the bedroom. Like any noise or anything wakes me up, and so and I'm also a tosser and a turner. So and that bothers him. So usually what happens is he goes to bed. If we don't go to bed together, he's in the bedroom doing his thing, like watching TV or just unwinding or whatever. And then I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing. Talking to y'all, the podcast until 12 o'clock in the morning or, or whatever. But there are nights where I know that if I go to bed, I know that I'm going to toss and turn and that's going to keep him up. So I just stay here. In the living room is where I'm at. Yeah. So, but
I mean, I'm a light sleeper still. Yeah, I'm a light sleeper. Like he'll move, I'll still wake up. Actually, the doctor was because I had to do one of those sleep studies. And so the doctor was like, on average, you wake up, and you may not know you wake up 15 times an hour.
Wow.
An hour?
15 times an hour.
Oh, so you wake it up
every
impossible.
Yeah.
Right. 5
he
minutes.
was telling he was just you might
wake up, wake up, or is that out of REM? Is that
out
wake
of
up,
REM?
Wake up?
Out of REM where I am moving and being turning or something
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
I was supposed to get one of those 2
dreams.
years ago and I didn't.
It was cool. It was, the thing is very easy to do. Okay. And it was nice to see because he was like, I can tell when you're dreaming. He was like, because this is a spike in here like this. And he was like, your dreams seem a little aggressive. And I was like, yeah, I'll be fighting. God damn.
That tracks.
I was like, very on brand. Very on brand.
The doctor knows she be fighting. That's so funny.
I was like, very on brand.
That's funny you said that. Sleep. Because I be telling, because Corey talks in his sleep sometimes. And there's even time, because sometimes Corey just be an irritable human being that's just in his nature. And sometimes he'll be I'll go to bed or he's already asleep. And he'll be mumbling and be like, well, fuck off then. And I'm like, girl, you mad in your sleep. I'm like, come on, girl, who pissed you off in your sleep? He's like, no, I didn't say that. I'm like, I'm going to literally just start recording every night because more times than not, he'll have a moment where he's talking in his sleep at some point, and I've been waiting to hear. I've been waiting to hear him say something like, "Ooh, you better tell on yourself." But so far, so good.
Adam talks in his sleep and he never remembers. Never, ever, ever remembers talking in his sleep at all.
Literally last week, and we were low-key kind of fighting too. And in the middle of the sleep, like I was like, because I had a bad dream, and I was like, you know, like you ever have a dream about your partner and you get so mad, you wake up and you're like, oh, I just want to slap you out your sleep. Like
I've never had one of those. That's the
let me tell you, I was so mad after this dream. I literally looked at this man. I was like, Jarrell, that was a dream. Jarrell, that was a dream. It was just a dream, you know. But I laid there.
All a dream.
But I laid there like I couldn't go back to sleep. My spirit, I was literally that bothered.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so bad. So then, like, it's probably like an hour and a half later. He rolls up to me and he goes, "That's stupid," and then rolled right back over. And I was like, "Is this bitch awake?" And mind you, I'm already mad because of this dream. So I'm like, oh,
right.
I'm awake.
You don't talk about fathers.
But he didn't remember anything. And I was like,
that's funny.
Okay.
Wow.
Like, I don't think I talk about, like, I've never heard anyone say I talk in my sleep or anything like that. But like my sister growing up, and I'm putting all her business out there, my bad. Hey, Kai. She used to sleepwalk growing up. And like
really?
it would be like, and like she would have like full blown conversations, like it's crazy, and like to the point where like it was almost comical because we knew it was gonna happen. So we'd be like, "Oh, okay, yep, all right, go back to bed," and she'd be like, "Okay," just walk back up. I just walk back up to bed. So it's just like, so it's interesting to hear that it's more common than people maybe even attest to. Because I just thought it was Corey be talking all damn night.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, overall, I agree with the study, what you said. Like, I mean, if you're doing it because of sleeping reasons or whatever, like that makes sense. But I mean, any other reason, bitch, move the fuck out. Like, you know, like they were talking about, they were literally like, oh, but you know what? It's so damaging to the kids. So you got to make sure that you know, show the kids that you know that you still love them. I'm telling you, that article, I was sitting here, I was like,
it was crazy.
Wrote this.
Right.
A white person wrote this.
So
you know, you just
so was. I will say though, like, because like we used to have a queen bed, and now we have a king bed. Luckily, thank you, Lord, for letting us have space to have a king bed. It's the best thing ever.
So is.
Because like I run hot as it is, and I sleep hot, and so like the whole cuddling thing, like, and luckily Corey's this way too. Like we might cuddle for like 3 minutes just to say we did it. Right. But then after that, it's like, get off me, I'm hot. And he's like, get off me, I'm hot. So usually we'll like touch toes or something like that. But it's just like,
correct. I picture you like space. The Heisman. I picture you like the Heisman trophy right now in bed.
Just stay over there. Like, just move. But a lot of times he's like that too. Like even last night we were on the couch and I was like, you know, we haven't cuddled on the couch in a long ass time. So I like getting a cuddle, but literally like 20 minutes later, he's like, I'm fucking hot. And I was like, yeah, it is warm. So it's like, you know, you do what you gotta do, but then it's cool to have that relationship where you just tell it like it is. Like you don't feel no kind of way. It is what it is.
Or Fizz, that's my love language. I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to deal. No.
It's too damn high for all that. Jesus. But did you also see old boys back in the news, Chris Brown?
Oh, for a second, I thought you were talking about Trump.
Right.
That's another. We got a couple old boys.
We got a couple old
boys.
Let's specify.
Right.
You're right. But Chris Brown is back in the news for slapping a girl.
Allegedly
slapping a girl. It seems like it's a habitual nature, though. When is enough? When is enough that we just say, Chris Brown, you just need to stay in the crib and we ain't gonna listen to your ass no more because like somehow
you know what happened? We saw that dangling and we were like, oh,
you're right. I
get it.
We did see that.
You know, some people are like, you know what? I can excuse it a little bit. Now it's just like, all right, now that we see the dangling, you can't run from this.
You're right. That is a thing.
He'll laugh till you back.
Right. Look. He lasted me back, all right.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Sorry to that woman that got slapped, but it is the dangle. It is the dangle. But it's just I don't know how he has it just be like, you know what, let me have someone else slap somebody. Like, why are you slapped? Why are you still doing the slapping? Because what's going to happen every single time. Like,
that also assumes that he did it.
That's
right?
True.
Because
that is a true
statement. When you have a history of doing what you did to Rihanna, it's easier for the John Q public to believe that you've already demonstrated you got the capacity to do it.
Yep.
So it's very, and a lot of times it's he said, she said. So who's to say that he did it or he didn't do it? But people are jumping on it like, man, he can't even just act right.
Because I
meanwhile,
think
he probably like, damn, why nobody believe me?
Right. Yeah, no, that's a valid statement. But ain't this like the third or fourth time? Like, it feels like every 5-ish years, Chris Brown out here allegedly slapping somebody. It's just like you messing up your money. And you just messing up your money.
Mm-hmm. and if that's the case, girls, leave him alone.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you even want to be around somebody that got a history like that? You so thotty that you want to get your likes up or whatever. So you're gonna hook up with whatever celebrity and whatnot, and then the red flags are out there. So ain't nobody on this earth don't know that Chris Brown has had a tendency to beat a bitch up. So why would you put yourself in that situation? You ain't changing nobody. So, and I'm not victim blaming. I'm just saying, why would you make that choice? That's what I'm saying. It'd be a different story if she was a rando. She was just some random chick in a club, but he just walked up to her and just, little babied her.
And let me think, who little babied her? Who? That is a good question. Who was it? Was it his girlfriend or was it a rando?
No, they say it was somebody that said that she was kind of linked to him.
Oh, why does this headline say Chris Brown slapped a woman so hard her weave flew off? Come on, who wrote that headline? Fuck out of here, the Sun.
A black person.
Come on,
somebody we will exaggerate some shit.
Exaggerate some shit.
And then it says as rapper faces battery. So no, it was a white person because black people know he ain't no rapper. I mean, he raps, but he's not a rapper.
Yeah. Chill.
Well, what's the name of the writer? Go
ahead.
Let
me click on this. Let's see here. The name.
Is it Craig?
Chris Bradford.
Oh, that's a black name.
Let's see here. That could go both ways. You're right. Let's see here. Does it have his picture?
Yeah. Who this nigga is?
Right.
This hating ass.
Right. Damn, everybody just go sit down somewhere.
But leave these dudes alone. If you know somebody, I mean, this is a no for anybody. If you gay, straight, it don't damn matter. If you know somebody has had the tendency to knock somebody upside their head, stay away. And this is not victim, like Devon said, it's not victim shaming. It's not making light of assault and battery and things like that. But for this specific thing, if this person clearly has had a history of allegedly doing things, and you out there still want to associate and be around this, socialize,
and you out here wilding, the likelihood,
the probability is pretty high. I wouldn't put any Las Vegas bets on it not happening.
So it's
and again, this is not about victim blaming. This is saying if you know, then why choose to?
Yes,
it's a different story if you didn't just walked into a room and then somebody
somebody just hit you. Lord. And then
somebody just Rick James you,
Right. What the 5 fingers say to the face. But man. But also during Gay Pride, it's still Gay Pride Month. Hey, Gay Pride, yeah. And also it's a kind of a wig episode. The one I just decided to randomly put on wigs.
Yes, we did.
Even though I'm
sweating, and it's
like
too hot for that here.
Girl said it's too hot, and I might be right there with you because I'm gonna sweat through this shirt. I feel it. But so subscribe to the YouTube channel and all that stuff because it's a wig episode. So whenever it's a wig episode, it gets a little litty. We sit here and play.
I didn't need those shorts on.
I was telling you earlier.
I'm surprised you
really
got shorts on.
Girl, I got on runner shorts, okay, like the coochie cutters. They all the way up there, and that's too much.
Some things underneath it. Like the holes for his shorts are probably underneath his armpits.
Look, they coochie cutters, girl. Like I barely got anything on, girl, and they hot. They all the way up here.
I knew it.
Look, the back in between my booty cheeks, just so I can air out the back of my leg.
They done turned into thongs on the back.
Okay, look.
Thong.
And that's another reason why to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because you're going to see his coochie cutters on the screen, girl. Oh, man. But happy Pride Month still. And we have a new member in the community named Carl Nassib, the NFL player. The first, I guess, out NFL player.
Yeah.
While they're still playing.
Yeah.
Obviously, people have kind of come out like at the tail end of the careers and after and things like that. Which is awesome. Congrats, because we all have been there and know how hard it is to come out, especially to be in a public eye like that, and in a toxic masculinity employer. That's gonna be some shit, because this next season and motherfuckers gonna be saying some shit out there to them in the field.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to talk about Michael Sam though.
Oh, absolutely. And I was going to get to that point too.
Yeah, because although he didn't make an official team, he was drafted by a team and then came out and then was put under and then was told, oh, you're not up to standard or you're not up to par. But
even though he was like one of the top players in college football.
Right. So, and they blackballed this black queer man right out of the league. But here we go. We have this white guy doing it. Like, we need to talk about the intersectionality that happens.
Yes.
He still has white privilege.
Yeah.
And the truth of the fact is, he know what he was doing because of the fact that he waited 6 years into his career to even come out.
Yeah.
Had it been still not an issue at all, why everyone's been like, oh my God, this shouldn't be a conversation. Like, if it wasn't an issue, he wouldn't have waited 6 years.
Nope.
And what happened to Michael Sam never would have happened either.
No. And that was literally my first reaction. I was like, okay, yeah, he cute as shit. Okay, big beefy man. Okay, you're cute. However, we just know the opportunities now that he's going to be afforded that others, specifically the people of color, will never be afforded. And that's the sad thing.
Get a TV show like that other dude from The Bachelorette.
Colton, look, did you see the meme? Did you see the meme that said Cole Underwood like this today?
Right.
Stole all the thunder.
All the thunder. So
Watch
it's just
that be like the next gay couple right there.
And literally, I was like,
I won't be watching.
I forget what I said I think it was in the Have a Nice Gay thread. I was just like, oh yeah, he cute. However, still not watching the NFL.
Yeah,
like,
still not watching.
Still not watching it. So it is what it is. It's like I'll check his.
How easily we done forgot.
It's like I'll check his IG out from time to time, but NFL
and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this too. I want the NFL to embrace him as a gay man. I want them to embrace all of queerness.
Absolutely.
But damn it, I'm gonna be mad because they still ain't embraced these motherfucking Black lives. I'm just saying, priorities, bitch. We've been fighting first. Like hello.
Right, get in line. Get a ticket.
Hello.
Take a number.
Always at the back of the bus.
For real.
Always
For real.
at the back of the bus.
Come on, Outcast.
Yeah.
Rosa Parks back in the bus. And then to the back of the bus. So it's just like, and I again don't want him to feel like everyone's shitting on him because he's a white guy, but it's the reality of the situation. Congrats of coming out, because now you can fully be yourself, hopefully. Like, we've all been there. but I hope he just knows and understands and hopefully is able to shed light that the privilege that he has still in this situation. That any person of color that is in the league right now trying to come out, just knowing that it's still going to be way harder for that human being than Carl.
Yeah.
So
I'm just sitting here thinking about, like, is it the responsibility of an ally? Well, let me rephrase. Because we don't know that he's an ally because he's coming out for himself. Right. So,
and he
like,
in Virginia.
So I'm just wondering.
Pennsylvania. Oh, even worse.
You know what? Before we jump on this bandwagon, can we see his voting records? That's what I want to know.
Right.
Let's have that conversation. Because at the end of the day, we may be like raising this dude up, and everybody thirsting after him. Oh, he's gay and he's thick and he's da-da-da-da-da, and he's not that cute to me, but that's a preference thing.
I mean, he's 6'7", 2 something. I'm like, damn, that's a man.
And
boy.
He may be a damn Trump supporter, so he may be 6'7" of trash.
And sucking dick at fucking Coachella, like what's his name was.
Exactly.
Damn.
Exactly.
Damn. Yeah, someone said in this group chat said, I'll hold up until they pull up his past. I'm like,
that
right.
Part.
I was like,
that part. Let's not jump on the bandwagon real quick.
You're right.
Come on now. Look, you saw what happened with Jussie Smollett.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
So,
whatever. Where is he? Like, we started this podcast. We started this podcast.
Ironically enough, it's his birthday today.
Is it really?
It's his birthday today.
The universe just wanted us to say his name.
Happy birthday, girl.
Happy birthday.
Hey. Look, if you want to come on and tell your side of the story, we would love to have you. Jussie, if you listening and you want to tell your side of the story,
we literally started this podcast all on, like, we did like our first 5 episodes was Jussie. And here it is, like 2.5 years later, and he's still.
Do you think that he could? Do you think there's a second chance for him?
Oh, there should be. I mean,
really, do you think that there's a second chance for him?
Maybe not an actor. I think what he's doing now, which is moving more behind the camera, because I believe he's directing something right now.
Oh, okay.
And so I think he may move into that world where, like, he's more behind the scenes, so his name's not in the front of everything and bringing that type of publicity. Like, I don't think it's long enough for people to forget everything that has happened. And honestly, still nothing came about like a definitive. Like, it has not still been proven that he was even wrong. Like, like we ain't heard nothing from the Chicago Police Department about this so-called, whatever they came up with. Like.
They were supposed to be releasing some secret tapes of him, like, confessing some shit. We never heard that.
We never heard, right. So, like, the jury is really still out on what actually happened in the situation.
Literally.
So I'm still rooting for the black man before I root for those white men.
This sounds like some behind the scenes Tyler Perry shit. I feel like Tyler Perry did something behind the scenes. Like, he always be behind the scenes,
right? And empower.
Because I mean, white people been having them all day lives, so like, we got Tyler.
I'm not mad.
Me either.
Look, when people ask me about OJ, I be like, I mean, white people get off all the time. So
all the time.
Do I care? No.
That part.
Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, and it also still just doesn't make sense to even why do that, because Empire was literally the shit.
That's the
like so that's what still gets me. Like, he didn't even need to do anything. Of that. So I don't know. It's just something still staying.
It's above me.
It's
above me.
Right.
Like,
and it was last decade, so whatever.
Right. Oh,
I do feel like, I mean, not to like, well, I'm gonna beat the horse just one more time. Like, something about that whole situation just is fishy. You know what I mean? Like, to your point, Jarrell, there was no reason whatsoever for him to fake this, because like, he didn't need the extra publicity. Like, it was what, season 2 of Power or of Empire? Season 2 or 3?
No, they're like 4 or 5.
4?
Yeah.
At any rate, they were seasons in, well established, like the #1 show for their time slot, etc. There was absolutely no reason for for this to happen, and so it feels like some machinated, like
ooh, that's a good word.
Machinated,
like made up,
machinated.
It's made up. So when you get into an argument, y'all can use that. While you over here machinating all these allegations against me, y'all can use that.
Stop.
But this felt like some next level, like ex-Illuminati bullshit. Like, okay, well, if you're not gonna play ball, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this. It's
I almost feel like it almost sounds like
got
the
together. They said we're gonna make
this
this shit happen.
It almost feels like the studio made it up, like brought it, like wanted to be like, oh, we're about to go into our last season of Empire. This is what we're gonna do. Justin, can you do, like it almost feel like everybody was involved in it.
It's so weird, right?
That's what it feels like.
Because like you can't put it past the studios. Like they put relationships together that are fake as hell. They have all these stunts. They have people out there like committing felonies and crimes and shit like that. I
feel like he was like collateral damage. Like,
right.
I feel like he felt like he potentially couldn't say no, and fell in some bullshit. That's what I feel like.
Right. And maybe he thought that it would like blow over, like, oh, woe is him or whatever, and not realize the legal ramifications. But either way, like, dude blew up his whole career.
Well, happy birthday, girl.
Not happy birthday.
I don't know what to tell him. Oh man! But question for y'all: so this episode is gonna be like a hodgepodge of topics that like we just haven't been able to get to for the last few weeks. So last week, or I guess at this point, 2 weeks ago, it was Tupac's 50th birthday, and Jada Pinkett Smith on IG shared an old like poem that Pac had written her, and Black Twitter is just something else. Like Black Twitter was on it saying, "Damn, Will Smith to the side again." Like,
I mean, she didn't already had an
entanglement.
So
honey,
we know that they got a certain situation going on.
Exactly. And I mean, like, if it's an open relationship, it is what it is to me. But so say Adam and Nick come to y'all and be like, "Damn, I've been holding on to this poem for the last 30 years." I'm gonna read it for y'all, and I'm gonna put it on my stories instead. Would you be in your feelings, or you be like, okay, it is what it is? Like, it doesn't bother me one way or the other.
I don't even like poems. I wouldn't care.
Meanwhile, in her dreams, she'll be fighting Fizz.
Fuck your poem.
Mary had a little fist in your
right. And also, I mean, like you also like, and also like it's Pac.
Right.
2, he dead.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I mean, so plenty of people in our community think this man is still alive on the island somewhere.
She said in our community. No, that's her. We're keeping that story alive.
Just saying. But
so you wouldn't feel any kind of way with like, or if Nick or Adam were holding on to just old mementos from past relationships?
I mean, as long as he's taking care of business at home first,
yeah, you good.
I don't care.
Yeah,
like if at any moment I'm feeling like less than your past, then we got an issue. But as long as I know I'm your present and your future, we good. Reminisce all you want to, because you got here somehow.
Yeah,
we all got.
I kind of feel like part of this is again that Hollywood bullshit. Jada she's trying to get sponsors for her show. So
absolutely.
Any publicity that she can get, oh yeah, that's right, I got this, from when I was 3 years old. And oh yeah, I went on this audition with Viola Davis and she shit her pants. I'm gonna tell that,
right.
I do feel like there's a little bit of like, that Hollywood tomfoolery that's going on. It really, like to Jarrell's point, like if you had a memento of Pac, it'd be a different story if it was like Big Daddy Kane.
Leave Big Daddy Kane out of this.
I mean, but he put it down on a whole bunch of women back in the day, and probably still he could still get it.
Big Daddy Kane was it.
Yes, I mean that big, deep, silky voice, and
that Big Daddy Kane.
that Big Daddy Kane. So I think it would be a different story if it was that, you know, or if it was like some other person that was like she was holding on to. But I think for me, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
If you like, Adam's a memento like keeper.
Yeah.
Like birthday cards and like that stuff. I'm not. You know, so the day after my birthday, your card is going in the trash. I mean, what am I gonna? What your sentiment was nice. I thanked you for it.
And now the garbage man's picking the shit up.
Look, I'm 45 years old. What am I gonna be doing with 286,000 birthday cards that I didn't got from like? So if you kept that, I'd be like, okay,
right.
So this what we talking about tonight?
That's what you want to put on your stories tonight?
Right, okay. Like, I don't get that. What about you? Well, I mean, how would you feel if Corey had some little like love locket from his ex-boo that he secretly look at in the bathroom? He opened it up.
He secret jerk off in the bathroom too.
What's in that locket, girl?
It's like, this picture hot. Skeet.
Honestly, look, what if he opened up that locket and it was a booty hole?
Just a big old pucker.
It's like, let me see. Let me see, girl. What you looking at? Honestly, it doesn't really bother me at all. And honestly, like sometimes he'll like be like, oh man, I remember XYZ. And here's the thing, it's just like, even with exes and things like that, there were fond moments, that were fond in that moment and still might be, but like, oh, that was a good moment. So that doesn't bother me at all because we all have that. If you're maybe infatuated still and like it's all day, every day, but like, okay, girl, like clearly you got some shit that like you haven't dealt with.
Like if he said, oh, you don't make these egg rolls like my ex make them egg rolls. That's a different story.
Right, exactly. And even then, I'd be like, okay, then go tell your ass to make some damn egg rolls then. Shit. Right. I'm going to get out the kitchen. I'm over here sweating. I'm getting out the kitchen now. How about that?
I want these egg rolls anyway.
That part.
Right.
All this time rolling these damn egg rolls.
Right.
I was doing it out of love, but now you're playing yourself.
Let me ask you this question, and I'll start with you, Carell, because I think you made a really interesting point. A lot of couples don't talk about their exes, and it I guess the question is, do you feel like it's taboo? Do you feel that it's taboo, particularly in gay relationships, to not talk about exes?
I mean, let's be honest, most of them people are sharing the same man, so
Jesus. She went there.
That was a word. I mean, the gay community is very incestuous.
Ooh, girl, sure is.
I mean, we're not even talking about 2 degrees of separation.
Nope. We're talking about like 7 inches.
Okay.
A booty hose. Is it taboo? I don't know. I don't think so. At least for Corey and I, it's not really, but I can see how it could be, because if you're not secure in yourself and you think, especially if like they're constantly talking about maybe the relationship right before you, you might feel a little intimidated. I can see that, but for me, I'm like, okay, you here right now, like we here, like it is what it is, and we all have past. So,
are you talking about them as a friend, or are you talking about the relationship? Because there's a difference, right. like if you're talking about the relationship or what you had with that individual, like if I'm being compared to someone else, then it's different. But if you're talking about, how me about your ex, like how y'all had this moment, or like, or whatever the case is, then that's cool, because you're not trying to put something on me. Like it's only when you're trying to compare me to somebody else, then we got an issue. I mean, like my best friend and I dated 3 months ago, like for 3 months, Like Paul, y'all know Paul. Like he's one of my best friends. But when I talk to Fizz,
Paul handsome. Hey, Paul.
Hey, but but like when I talk to Fizz about Paul, I don't talk to him about our 90-day relationship. I talk about my best friend, and
like a TV
like
show that
right.
I watch.
My 90-day relationship.
My 90-day relationship.
Coming to Peacock.
Oh, right. Everything coming to Peacock right now.
Okay.
Peacock and Paramount. Damn, what else?
But I thought, when I bring up Paul, I reference our friendship. I reference, conversations or, our life or whatever the case is, But
does Nick doesn't feel a way about it, right?
I mean, at first, but
okay.
But that's because, like, for him, like, he's not friends with his exes.
Right.
Yeah. So for someone who isn't friend with their exes, like, that's gonna seem
taboo.
Weird. Right, taboo. But I mean, like,
yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, everyone minus the devil.
Oh, I want to hear who's going to be in this list. Let me take the hair around from my ears so I can hear this closely.
I'm friends with, minus just that one individual.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, I'm cordial with all of them. I mean, it was a moment in time.
Do you feel like you can talk openly about stuff that happened with them, even in the context of the relationship, not just the bad stuff, but like, like the pleasant stuff, like, we went on this trip and he took me here, and like we did this kind of gift exchange.
I have no problem with it. I think it might bother him a little bit, because also at the same time that was so long ago, like at the same time, like it's about
why am I even bringing it up?
Right. At this point, it's long enough where we should be just focusing on new memories at this point. And also, like, I'm not checking for any of them. So as far as I'm concerned, every time, like, on this day on Facebook comes, I'm deleting most of the memories anyway. So I don't even want to talk about them. So
I get curious about exes. So Adam and I will talk very openly about, previous relationships, who we were with, and, and the context of the relationship, and not from a, not all of those relationships ended amicably,
right.
But I don't know. This is not like everyday conversation. Like, oh, damn, we talking about this again. We talking about exes
Come on,
again. Damn.
Right.
Like, so tell me about ex number 42.
How'd he put it down? Right.
But I just wonder, like, because, when you talk to your friends about stuff, you talk about everything. But I do feel like especially, and maybe this is just in male gay relationships, so I'd be curious to know, like, women, y'all listeners out there, I would be curious to know about this, but I'm just wondering, is it taboo? Like, is it the unspoken taboo to just don't ask, don't tell?
Right. Yeah.
I think the
like,
truth
need
is
to
for
know.
me is
need to know basis.
One, I'm nosy. Okay, I'm nosy. So if you're gonna tell me half the story, by default, I'm gonna want to know the other story. So now I got to go to your ex and be like, well, Fizz and I talked about this. So was this what really happened? Like, I'm not the type of person that
Drew
starts
over here.
Right. Let me tell you.
Damn. The babysitter
and you
club.
wonder why she be fighting in her dreams.
Let me tell you. I'm the person, don't start nothing you can't finish. So and look, don't tell me nothing that ain't gonna have an ending to it. Because at the end of the day, even when you're telling those stories are truly just one side at the end. And the last thing I would want to then have this idea of some person that I don't know that is literally just one sided the whole entire time. Now I'm looking at this bitch sideways and be like, oh, I might want to fight him.
See,
and
like,
I got half the story.
I just go
and
with
now I'm
the
fighting in my
I
sleep.
have
And here we are again.
I want to see them wrist, the wrist weights that she be wearing, because them wrists have to be real strong for all.
I want to see her knuckles. She probably got like scuff marks and shit and scars all over her hands.
They cute.
She said cute and bony and like cute and deadly.
Let me tell you, I put my cocoa butter on all the time. Look.
Keep them moisturized, honey. But yeah, like that's an interesting question though. Like I think you kind of nailed it too. Is like you might feel more open telling your friends all the nitty gritty details than your lover, like your partner, your husband, or whatever. And a lot of it might be simply out of respect too. Like it's just like it's like they don't need to know everything. Like it is what it is. It's like, this is my past. If you ask, I'll tell you. But like, it's just out of respect. Why am I sitting here talking about my ex when I have you, kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I do kind of feel like we do, and maybe this is just me, but like we do that investigation up front when you like feeling them out, when you're doing that pre-dating interview where you ask them all, like, tell me about your last relationship, tell me what are you doing for a living, what are you interested in, when you do all that, you kind of get the cliff notes. Right. But I feel like when you 5 years deep into a relationship, 5 year plus deep into a relationship, you're peeling back layers and just getting to know each other. I just wonder how, like, I don't know, how taboo that conversation could be. So,
well, we have a taboo question for Ask Your Aunties. So, what time is it?
Ask your aunties. Bang.
Bang, not the bang. Who wants to read this week?
I can go for it.
Go ahead.
All right. This is from Anonymous, and it says, can you fall in love with your straight married friend and not do anything about it? Nothing sexual. The straight friend doesn't even know.
I mean, yeah, you can fall in love with whoever you want to fall in love with,
right.
I guess. But
a hole is a hole.
That's true. Well, I mean, do you really want to go down that route? That sounds too messy for me. I mean, here's the thing, though. Like, I mean, I have a bunch of straight friends. I guess I've never fell in love with any of them. But it's just like, I have straight friends that are attractive that I'm like, you're a good-looking guy. But I guess it's never crossed my mind like, ooh, damn. What if I could turn this straight dude? Or, what if maybe somewhere on the spectrum? Like, that thought never comes to my mind. But I could see how maybe if you have like a straight friend that's like your best friend or you're very close and things like that, just that camaraderie maybe having come in some of those similar emotions, because those emotions are similar for like falling in love and lust and all that. You might be getting them entangled. But the straight friend don't even know, and it just sounds like you might have this vision in your head, and I wouldn't take it further personally because you might lose that straight friend then. But I mean, if you gotta have this vision in your head, vision of love,
wait, lose a straight friend because he won't be straight no more? Is that what you meant?
Ooh, well, that is true. If you pull that tail, he won't be straight no more. He's straight-ish. But I mean, I feel like that's something just in the gay culture where it's like, oh, I could turn this straight guy. I could do this. In reality, it's ridiculous. Like, come on. Unless like they whip their dick out, they ass sounds like pound me, suck me, whatever. Then you kind of know. But other than that,
he ain't straight.
Right. But it's just like, other than that, I wouldn't cross that line. Maybe you have this fantasy in your head. You rub one out one time or two, whatever. Do what you got to do that regard. But don't fall in love. And if you do fall in love, don't cross that line. That would be my advice. And he's married. Hold on. I just reread it. And he's married. So you're trying to break up a happy home and a straight life? Damn.
Morals all the way messed up. Like, look, how you get them is how you lose them.
Ooh.
So,
right.
First of all, I think the challenge that I see is this notion about falling in love with somebody that like is unattainable. Like, is that really falling in love, or have you romanticized the idea of what it could be like to be with this person? And oftentimes when you romanticize an idea, it ruminates, here's another word, it ruminates in your head, it circulates around in that brain or whatever, and it becomes bigger than the idea becomes bigger than the reality.
Yeah.
So this notion of like, can you fall in love with your straight married friend? I don't know. I feel like it's hard to fall in love with somebody that don't love you back. Like, you can love somebody and you can lust real hard after somebody, but falling in love, in my opinion, is almost kind of like it infers reciprocity.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to say. Reciprocity. It requires something back. I remember when I was in college and I wasn't out yet, and I had I had a best friend who was straight. And I can remember vividly, like, thinking, oh, what would it be like if he actually turned to be gay and da 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 da. Meanwhile, I wasn't even out, so like, I'm in my whole, in my mind, I just made up this whole kind of like scenario. And I finally realized that it was just like, it was unfair. It was unfair to the friendship, and it was unfair to them. And it was unfair to me, because then I'm literally just setting myself up for heartbreak. In this situation, this is a no-win. This is a like,
and it's not sexual too. Like, so what you got to gain? Like, you just want love? Like, you just want love? Like, that's odd, because it's just like
not doing anything about, like, what you gonna do, sis? You gonna break up their relationship so that you can give it a shot, and then let's just say hypothetically that you do. Guess what? This person is straight, now entering into, let's say hypothetically, best case scenario, a gay relationship with you. Now they're a new gay.
Yeah.
So they're a new gay with your old gay ass. Like, like, come on now.
He
What's
smell
gonna
like
happen?
New gay. He got that new gay scent.
No, don't let him get on Grindr. He gonna find out what he been missing out on, and find out how easy it is.
Don't let him go to these little gay bars. Don't let him go to the Eagle.
Look, she gonna be strutting around with her new bow on her arm, and then this new bow is gonna see all the other dick that they could be getting, and they not mature enough in their gayness to be able to resist all that temptation. They gonna be like, you know what, this was fun, but I think I need to explore. And you knew this whole damn time there's a possibility. Come on now.
Now you're in an open relationship.
With the whole community.
Not because you want to be.
Right.
What did you say, Carell? 6 inches of separation?
7 inches of separation. It's like, come on now. It's like,
I mean, if that these days, you may not know, because it ain't sexual. So
right, that's the weird part. It's just like
you may see it and be disappointed and be like, damn, I blew all this up for what?
Yeah.
Trash dick, trash booty hole. He may have explosive diarrhea.
That's the worst. That is the worst. When you
now.
Romanticize someone, and you think it's gonna be awesome, and it ends up being trash ass and trash dick. That's the worst.
The worst. The absolute worst. You done built it up in your whole fantasies. Like,
right.
I'm over here saying, like I know. I'm trying to think. I'm going through my 20s.
You never had like one that you thought was gonna be good and it ended up being trash.
Normally, you don't get that far.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's 26. That's right.
Yeah, I know.
I told you I was that bitch who be asking
there.
all sorts of questions on there, being like, you didn't answer that.
I don't like your
I'm
fingernails.
ghosting.
We not having sex.
Right.
Yeah. You got fingernails? Oh, they gotta go.
My bad. That's right. Anyway, but for me, there's been a time or two where I'm like, ooh, this about to be good. And then as you close that door, as they leave your place or you leave their place, you're like, damn, that was kind of trash.
Let me get back on this grinder. Right. Let me do a redo.
But I will say, I agree with both of you. I mean, I think it's normal for a gay person to find a straight person someone that they can't have attractive, and then make up this whole idea because they can't have. So it's almost easier to jump to conclusions, because it really is just so unobtainable. So you can go as crazy and bizarre with your mind and your emotions as much as possible.
Because it's not reality.
Come through 5-syllable words.
Right.
Unattainable. Yes. I see you, vocabulary.
But I mean, because I've done that. I mean, I've done that where I've had straight friends who are like, I've just connected on such a really deep level. I'm like, man, if you were gay, I would want to date you, honestly, but then I had to quickly change that to this is my bro. This is, this is nothing but a good friend. And you got to put them yourself into that category where those emotions cannot be messed with. You have to do that. Otherwise, like Carell said earlier, you may just lose everything, and then you sitting there back on Grindr by yourself.
And here's the thing, I get it, because ultimately in any relationship that you ultimately have, a partner or whatever, you want that friendship. Like, and that's what happens is like sometimes you get so intrigued because of the friendship. So I get that part of it, but it's just like it's not reality for something more with a straight person.
Like we said before, don't fuck your friends. We said that a few episodes ago. Don't fuck your friends.
Don't fuck your straight friends.
Look, any friends, don't fuck them. It ruins everything. It ruins everything. You change the whole dynamic of everything.
Yeah.
Close your legs.
So, to marry men.
To marry men.
I was waiting. Thank y'all. I was like, I'm gonna lock this up there. Come on now.
Continue to send your questions at aya@minorietyreport.com or DM us. We need a new fresh batch of questions, so come on, continue to send those in because we know it's hot girl summer out here.
So
it's literally hot girl summer. So come on now,
right?
And don't make us start calling out names now on these episodes. Be like, okay, XYZ. We've seen your Instagram stories. You doing something? Come on, XYC. We see your stories. Come on now. Don't make us call you out like you in church. Oh man. But okay, so we haven't talked about the Pose series finale. We've kind of held on to this for the last few weeks. Should we save Dewan for last, or should we put him first?
Let's start low, go high.
Okay,
Ryan Murphy, because you don't look.
Pose.
Yeah.
Hated it.
I know. I can tell by the face.
Honestly, every time I watched the episode, all I could hear was Dewan like this. She ain't gonna like this.
I was thinking the same thing.
Look, the only thing I know she was gonna like was the music and every episode. I was like, she ain't gonna like nothing else.
The music is pretty lit. I just
Especially
feel like
this season.
This season they threw every song they could at you, which was beautiful. I think what lost it for me was it just became every episode was so damn preachy. Everybody got like, yes, they're dropping gems, but like if the whole episode is a whole hour of somebody dropping gems at you, it's like, okay, is this entertainment? Or did I just got, is this TED Talk?
Right.
That's what it was for me.
Yeah.
So
I think it was for me. I think they just wanted to, instead of doing what most shows do, was just like come to an end. I think they just wanted to bring the characters themselves to an end, not necessarily the show, if that makes sense.
Right.
Which I kind of appreciated that more because I felt like the individual characters had better storytelling than the overall arching of the show. So I would have preferred that them tell the individual stories and end it that way versus trying to make it about the ballroom scene again, or making it about the HIV/AIDS epidemic again. Like I felt like there was no way for them to make an overarching story for this season outside of ending every character's individual story. So I appreciated that. I also like the cameos of people that they brought in to tell some of the stories of other people's families and mothers and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. But other than that, I was just a little disappointed. I don't know. I still feel like there was something missing in the sense of you had 2 seasons where things was just bad. And then all of a sudden, everything was just good, better than good. Like everything was just great and awesome. I hate to say that I missed the struggle, but I felt like they just went from trying to be real to this fake reality utopia. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
and that was a thing. But here's the thing though.
I won't say it, community, if you haven't watched it yet.
I mean, they late.
You're right. They late because we late.
Well, by the time this episode comes out, it'd been over. It'd been a month. Yeah. So he dies, but again, this wasn't something new because throughout the whole season, they have been alluding to this even the season before when we found out that he was HIV positive. So that wasn't earth-shadowing or anything of the sort like that. I would more have liked to see, I don't want to see the behind the scenes struggles, but I just would have liked to see the dynamic of that between how it affected more with the people he interacted with. Like, I felt like when they did show it, it was always level 10. And I just would have liked to
a
just
little more
appreciate,
nuance.
yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And for that to be the only kind of thing that happened when you had her killing the whole last person the season before, you know, like people going to rehab, people dying unexpectedly in the season before. There were so many like crazy shit that happened in season 2 that was like the only thing that was like, wow, in this final season. And I felt kind of let down.
Yeah, like I feel like you could tell that it was a COVID season. Like, I don't know if the stories that ultimately were told, well, a couple things. I don't know if the stories that they originally wanted to told were going to be able to be told because of COVID. B, Damon had to pretty much get written off the show because he had a real life tragedy that he couldn't come back to the show. So I think that affected the last season. So that's why literally out the blue, we're like, oh, he's in rehab. In real life, his sister passed away during it. And he was like, I can't handle this. So luckily they were like, you know what? Handle life.
Take care of you.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's
I'm
cool.
like,
Because I was wondering what happened.
And so it's just like, okay, so I think that kind of had an effect on, damn, okay, we had this plan. Hold on, let's rewrite some more shit. And then them realizing, oh, you know, I think that we are going to just end this show now because what do we do kind of thing. So I do feel like parts of the season were definitely kind of rushed and maybe not as nuanced as some of the past seasons. The last episode, it was nice. It was a little long, but there was parts of it that actually made me tear up, and there was parts that actually made Corey tear up because like the scenes where they were just talking about like the meds and everything. Like when Corey lived in New York, he worked for Housing Works, which is a thrift store there in New York City that specializes in hiring people that are within the Black and Brown communities that have HIV, helping them get meds, et cetera, et cetera. So for him, he was sitting there like crying because he was like, oh my God, literally it just transported me back to the 90s when I lived there. He's like, I lived that, which is stories that he hasn't really told and doesn't talk about much.
Right.
So to see him affected, I'm like, oh, well, clearly the episode must be working because he's over here like, damn, this is fucking me up right now. And I wasn't expecting that. So that was kind of cool just for he and I to have conversations brought on from the show. So maybe that's where I enjoyed it a little more. But the actual episode, I was like, okay, it's fine. It started to get a little sensational again. They brought back Candy. They Electra's part of the mob. And I'm like, oh.
Right.
Which I'm like, I'm sure that probably happened. There's probably some random story because they do a decent job about pulling headlines into the show. So, but it was starting to get to that point again where I'm like, oh, DeJuan's going to be like, here's that Ryan Murphy effect.
Ryan Murphy.
And
crawling his way back in.
Right, you know. but then I took another stop to think, like a lot of these shows, I got to remember too, just like, yes, it's a show at the end of the day. You need to sell the show. But again, it's just almost the behind the scenes shit, like the long-term effect, ripple effect of this, of having Black people, brown people, trans people behind the scenes and able to write additional stories now because they were a writer on this show or director on this show or a PA on this show and things like that. So I tried to keep that in my mind as well. Like, okay, what is going to be the long-term trajectory of Pose? Yeah. Exactly. What is the legacy of Pose? Yes, it might not have ended the exact way I wanted it to. Oh, well, we might have a show in 5 years. We're like, damn, that's why Pose existed, because this is now the greatest show ever told, you know? And so that's what I try to keep in mind, because these opportunities don't come up often. Like you see the ending of even like Insecure and found them on their like social media, just knowing the legacy now of Insecure and seeing them write for other shows and getting these different jobs behind the scenes. I'm like, yes, could have been a little better, but comma, whatever, you know? So
what do you think are like, because, you know, like there are these TV shows like Living Single, any iconic TV show that's Black, you know, like In Living Color, etc. Given the fact that this was such a revolutionary, just expose into a life that most of middle America knew
Yeah.
nothing about. So, you know, I'll never take that away from the significance of the show and the portrayal of Black and brown and trans people
Yeah.
in acting as trans roles, right? Not acting as other or whatever. And doing it in such a way that brought such life to these characters. What do you think are like the most iconic moments that will live on in Black history? You know, because like we'll bring something back.
Lubricate your throat.
Lubricate your look, that for forever. That meme.
That's gonna be up there forever. It's gonna be mostly Electra.
That's true.
That's gonna
Electra and maybe pray, like the word, pray, pose. That might stay for a while, even though I mean that's like that a lot of those things have been around since the 80s and shit like that, you know. But I think a lot of the one-liners that Electra had are gonna be the ones that kind of live on. The memes
yes, daughter.
Right.
Yes, daughter.
Exactly.
Come here, daughter.
Yeah, even more so than Bianca stuff.
Yeah,
or Bianca's work. My bad. Blanca.
Ooh, is
that the manager name?
No. No. I knew you were going to say that too. No, that's a coworker. But I think even more so than the Blanca stuff, because even though Blanca was like the foundation of the show, you always got to have those one-liners, the wisecracks and things like that outlive the show, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So I mean, as much as like say like I love like a Khadijah on Living Single, is Regine and Sinclair with the one-liners and Maxine that like continue to live on, you know.
Shaw, attorney at law.
At law, right. So those are the ones that like end up ultimately living longer than the show.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I hope it just opens another door. We need another LGBTQIA prominent show. Hopefully that comes out of this or anywhere, quite frankly. It doesn't have to be Ryan Murphy. There's other folks in the community that can write.
Look, it could be Ryan Murphy too. I'll still complain, but you know, but I'll look. I give props where props are due.
Yeah,
I do feel like the only other thing that was a little bit disappointing for me is that it really didn't leave any room for like a continuation.
Yeah,
you know, like they were so like meticulous with wrapping up every single storyline that it's just like there's not a possibility for like, okay, well, what are they doing, you know, 20 years from now?
Yeah,
you know, like I would have loved to have some, I think Jarrell, you had said this too, like some kind of like tension. Everything felt like easy, you know, it was like, maybe easy is not the right word, but you know what I mean? Like you just, it felt very lubricated.
I've read an article
you know?
or was it an article or saw a video or something like that. Steve Cannell's the one that writes the show, and actually he's the one that pitched the show originally. He said the reason why he even had Blanca just walking down the street at the end, he said, at least his interpretation of it is life goes on. Like he's like, even if it's a pretty bow or ugly bow, whatever, he's like, literally, I want her just to walk on because it's just literally a continuation of life. He's like, life literally goes on. If you like it, don't like it. If it was a good story, bad story. And I was like, okay, I get it. I don't know if it came across that way, but I'm glad you explained that to me, Steve, because yes, I agree. Life does go on, unfortunately and fortunately, you know. So,
yeah, I just hope that we also get to continue seeing these actors and actresses like do their craft
in different roles. Don't pigeonhole
roles, right? I just don't hope that. I just hope that this isn't the last time we see them.
Yeah,
you know, I hope that we continue to, you know, understand that hey, this representation matters in all forms. Yeah. You know, no matter what the story is or the show is, like representation still needs to happen. So
yeah, I agree. Speaking
and the next series that they can do is something called Breakin'. It's about break dancing. Break dancing in the 80s. You can start there.
Get the broom.
Right.
That's funny. And speaking of representation, though, DeJuan, isn't today the day to vote in New York?
Yeah, it's the mayoral. The mayoral race is running, and it's hot and heavy, and we're doing the what's it called? It's forced rank voting. So basically, when you go to place your vote, you don't necessarily vote for or you can vote for just one candidate,
right,
but you can actually vote for multiple candidates, and they will force rank based on the number of votes that are provided and how you've put them in your position, how everyone puts them in their aggregate
they always
position.
do that in New York, or is this the first time?
Brand spanking new. And there's a lot of eyes on it, because this could be, the litmus for how voting works going forward. And the benefit to something like this is, you don't have to have 50% of the vote,
right,
and then you don't have to necessarily do those kind of like runoffs that just become, an administrative challenge for these administrations.
Ooh,
to
how
manage.
they gonna make this hard for Black people? They gonna find a way.
They will.
Jesus.
Well,
they working on it now.
They working on it now.
In New York, it's not really that much of an issue, but yet beyond New York, I think that's where it's going to be. If this is successful, which I think it will, because the perception of it is, and the intention is for it to amplify the voices of people who go unrepresented. This gives equal opportunity to all of the candidates, that are representing different parts of our community, and it doesn't make the race a binary race between two people and then all these extras. Everybody's actually part of it, so it'll be really interesting to see how this takes out.
Ooh. Does Andrew Yang actually live in New York, or did he just move to New York?
I don't know where he lives.
Because I'm like, how he in this race?
I think he has a place in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah, I think as long as you've had residency within within the area, the 5 boroughs of New York for I think a year, or it's a year and a half or something like that, that you are eligible. And he took up residency real quick after the presidential election, and so he's running. So
good for her.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be successful for her, but we'll see.
We'll see. So it'll be interesting, the outcome and how quickly they'll be able to at least tabulate that. Because if it is force ranked, I would think it'd be a little longer, just because you got to ensure, okay, if it's like first place is 3 points, second place 2 points, whatever, however they're doing it, that just seems like a little extra time you got to pay attention to these ballots. So yeah.
This isn't the only time that they've done it. They've done it in other smaller, like congressional and like borough related races and things like that. So they've got it down to a science. Well, I won't say they have it down to a science, but because it is the government, there's going to be some red tape. But they've done it. I think that the thing that'll be really interesting though is on the outset of this, whoever this new mayoral person will be, they're inheriting quite a challenge.
Yeah, they are.
They have the city that runs on tourism. You have half of the city that is literally still unemployed. A lot of the even though things are opening up, you still have to get people that are willing to work.
Yeah.
And a lot of our entertainers, people that work in the entertainment industry, like musicians and dancers and actors and the like, moved because
there was no work there.
There was no work for a year and a half. So it's going to take a while. And the last projection that I read was the economy. They were projecting, and this was like earlier this year, I think February, they were projecting that it will take until the year 2025 for tourism to return to the place of pre-COVID days, which then the economy is dependent upon tourism for the most part. And it's going to take that much longer for the economy to really bounce back. So
we'll see. Wow. Well, I'm hoping the Mexico economy here shortly. So I'm ready.
Coming live from Cancun, coming live from PV.
PV, honey. PV. Got these Speedos ready.
Can't wait.
Body out. Oh man. But what else? That's about it. Oh, are you going to watch the new season of Drag Race? The All-Star 6? No.
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of tired of Drag Race.
They've been pushing it so heavy. They just need to give us like a year break.
It's just, and I get it. Like, it's a cash cow because you got, like, first it was like just the gays, the queer community into it. And now you got, it has all this, now you have white women, which is basically everybody in the United States watching. So they're capitalizing on it. And I feel great. I love this as an opportunity for, for all these drag performers. But at the same time, I don't know, something feels a little like Starbucksy about, when it's on every single street and every single channel and every 3 months you got a new season.
The allure of it is going down. Like it just doesn't feel.
It doesn't feel as special. It's like okay, it's on to the next. Everybody's watching Handmaid. When a couple of people was watching Handmaid's Tale, it was cool. But now everybody watching it like.
You sound like oh, everybody got that CD for that artist now. I don't like her no more. Everybody likes that song now. Oh man, oh, you like Dua now? Like I don't like Dua no more.
That's it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch just because I have Paramount.
Yeah.
Here, so I'm gonna utilize that subscription. Damn it. And then B, I like Silky Nutmeg Ganache. She be funny as hell to me. So like, I'm like, you know what? Her alone, messy.
Yeah, she's messy.
So her alone, I'm like, you know what? That's gonna be at least entertaining for me.
I will tell you that it is. It's a good cast.
It is.
You got her. You got Eureka, who was another, big boisterous.
I'm surprised
individual.
Eureka went back because she's kind of bigger than Drag Race now. She has her own other show. I'm like, what are you trying to prove?
I mean, a coin is a coin. So,
right,
so. I mean,
you could be on Drag Race. She said I wasn't working during COVID, so maybe that's what.
Right, you could be on the road making some coins, or you could be in the studio making some coins. So, they also have, I think the one person I'm kind of interested to see how they perform is Trinity K. Bonet. I'm really interested to see how she performs. She's a black
I think
queen.
She's down here in Atlanta.
Is she?
I think so.
And she's just stunning, stunning, and like a lip sync assassin. Like she just does it.
Yeah.
But her confidence broke her when she was on her season. So she just got in her head too much. So I'd be curious now that it's been some time. I'd be curious to see how well she does. Yeah. Is there anybody else that you're?
I'm trying to think of all the queens. The rest of them have been on it so recent that I'm like, I hate when like
Ginger Minge has been on there before.
I'm just like, or not even just that. It's just like there's people like this. They just got done with season 13. So like there's a bunch of like season 12 queens and 11 queens. I'm like, we just saw you.
Oh,
like Jan's just on there.
Jan, yeah.
And I'm like, girl, like you literally just got home and now you're back. Like there's not that much different.
but in Jan's case, she like her season ended at the beginning of the pandemic, so she wasn't able to make no damn money.
That's true. That is true.
So
a lot of those queens are like, I need to get my name back out there because I ain't get to tour, I ain't get to see shit.
Yeah,
you're right. But no, I like I like Silky. I'm everybody black and Silky, like just Silky number one.
Facts.
Just because she's just fun, and I just like she's just outside the mold. She's a bigger girl, like she got a little lisp going, but she's like, you know what? I'm fabulous and beautiful, and it is what it is. And I'm like, I'm so here for you. I am so here for you.
Yeah, I can see that.
And she's from Chicago, so I still always had that little special part of my heart for Chicago. So, but anyway.
Have y'all been watching any of the Olympic trials for track and field?
Yes. Ooh,
man, Sha Carri.
Oh, yeah.
She a bad bitch. She a bad bitch. I am here for her.
And I want that goldish, orangish wig she got.
Wig that she got
with the two little like the double ponytail.
I was here for it.
She's like my girlfriend. She was like, my girlfriend picked it out. Like, better go ahead. Come on.
I'm here for it. And I'm hearing that like she's herself. Like she a little hoodish, she a little blacker than black. And I'm like, don't change, don't try to do anything but yourself.
But I'm saying like I just hate the notion that you can't be your own best cheerleader. Like why do everyone else gotta cheer for you? Why can't you cheer as hard for yourselves as everyone else cheer for you?
That part.
Right.
Like, that's not cocky. That's called self-love. Like,
Absolutely.
girl, go for it. And
Right.
I love that today, like on her Instagram, she posted a video of her coach from like the 1992 Olympics, I think it was. He won the 100-meter dash, and the whole time he was pointing, he was yelling, and and she said, then and now, like, I'm just like, when you see me, you see my coach, like. This ain't nothing you've seen that you haven't seen before. I just happen to be a woman, and you want to pigeonhole me into I need to be a lady. Like, this is ladylike. I hate that.
I don't like the idea that people need to tell athletes how they need to be. Like, their job is to play.
On your couch, lazy as hell.
But
what did Venus say?
Oh yeah, Venus.
Remember?
Because I know you ain't never gonna you ain't
be able to do what I do.
Right.
Yeah. But here's the thing though. But you notice how it's always the black female athletes.
Absolutely.
Serena, Venus, Simone, Gabby, Simone, Manuel, and swimming. We have it's always
like, why do we have to justify ourselves to you?
Right.
Go ask Susie over there.
Right.
Oh, you too great. So because you too great, I'm gonna need you to bring the personality down. Like, bitch, get the fuck up out of here. And also shout out to Clemens, the one of the girls that
with
won.
the Dorito,
with the Dorito earrings. Bitch, I want the Cool Ranch earrings.
I want that braids. She had the braids with the little accessories. I'm like, girl, go ahead.
I was here for her.
She's pretty. They're all pretty. Like, Sha Carri's pretty too.
Yeah.
I loved watching Black folks just
and Allison
really
Felix
shine.
as a Black mama.
Allison Felix too,
and
like,
the
she made
the lady that won the race. She's a mom too.
She's a mom too.
Here.
Both of their kids are like the same age.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy. I just love seeing all that melanin on the screen and be like, oh, Tokyo, y'all better look out.
But the women's 100 race is gonna be epic between Sha Carri and what's old girl from Jamaica that's won like every Olympics for the last
I can't
90 years, and she just ran the third fastest time ever, the second fastest outside of FloJo.
I don't know why I want to say Carmelita Jeter, but that's not it.
No, that was the U.S. girl.
That was U.S. What is her name?
It's three. She has three names.
Yeah.
I'll look it up real quick. Shelly Ann Fraser Price.
Yeah,
4 names.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, she just ran like a 10.64. I was like, "Ooh, this is about to be a good ass race."
It's about to love.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I really hope the Olympics happen. Like, reading something, like, my heart is aching for like the articles that I'm reading about how like was it like 1,500 like people just like volunteers just quit the Olympics. Like, I think
like 10,000.
10,000. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, it was a lot. Like,
and their COVID rates.
Well, they're concerned
now.
Yeah, they're concerned.
Yeah,
it just goes to show that.
I was gonna say, I understand why. I just, a lot of people don't understand, like, the Olympics, you don't make a lot of money even winning a gold medal at the Olympics. It's all your endorsements, So all the training that a lot of these athletes do, if they don't have endorsements, they're paying out of freaking pocket. And to see someone give literally everything of themselves, financially, physically, emotionally, mentally, only for their dreams to be denied, is just heartbreaking for me. Like, my heart breaks for these athletes.
It's a lose-lose situation all around.
Exactly. It really is. Like, I get both sides, but I just know, like, people out here who just, they live with their moms and their parents still because they can't afford to train and have a full-time job and keep bills and a house and all the rest of this stuff. It's just, it sucks.
Because it's just like
and you can't just go to the Olympics. Like, you got to train for it. Oof. 4 years may be the actual difference of whether or not the longevity, like, can your body sustain this type of rigorous training for another 4 years to do this? Like,
I know it's going to be interesting how many people actually, since the next Olympics are so close as it is again, it's 3 years away, that how many people will be like, you know what? I could train 3 more years, like, shit, because I want to do the Worlds next year. So if I'm training for Worlds next year, I might as well keep going for the Paris Olympics. And plus it's Paris, So it's just like, keep it going. But on the flip side too, it's just like, damn, if I was in Tokyo and it's like, I done lasted a year and a half without getting COVID, and now you're about to bring 100,000 people or whatever, 500, I don't even know how many people to my city fuck. Like, I don't want to stay in the crib no more.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's a lose-lose situation for everyone, unfortunately.
It just goes to show that, that these institutions care more about the old mighty dollar or the yang or the euro or whatever than they do about like health. Like that's what it boils down to. Like I get it. Like I get, the sometimes you just got to sacrifice and do what's right. And I firmly believe, this whole like rush to get back to, like being out and doing all this shit, it's going to bite us in the ass.
Oh, it is.
I hope
we
that
talked about it.
I hope it don't, but
I hope it don't either.
It's going to bite us in the ass. We're going to find out, oh yeah, well, us doing all this stuff then fortified the virus that was already out there. Now, like it just,
I know, because they're talking about that Delta variant now.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh Jesus, oh my Lord. And that's the one where I'm just like, God, okay, obviously it's more transmissible and things like that. And it seems like at least those that are vaccinated is the vaccines are working. But we're only at like here in the US, I think at 50-something% that
50,
at least have one shot. And then across the world, it's even less than that. So it's just like, damn, I could potentially have it, not knowing I have it because the vaccine's kind of working, and spread it to Tokyo, spread it to wherever. And then another variant comes out. It's going to be called the Olympic variant. It's like, like it's crazy. So it's just like, but then on the flip side, I'm with Jarrell. It's just like, damn, I done trained the last 5 years and I still can't do like, so it's just like, it's a lose-lose situation. There's no right call. There's no right call. And obviously the right call is going to be money related. So
I mean, and they're going to have to rely heavy on testing. Like one of the things that they're going to have to do, I mean, they're going to have to do it like places like Hawaii were doing, where you get there and you quarantine 14 days. You in the house for 14 motherfucking days. You don't get to go nowhere.
You ain't doing shit.
Like, I mean, that's just how it's going to have to be.
Yeah. So all I know if I was an athlete and I had access to a vaccine, my ass would have been first in line. First of like, shit.
I don't care that you went first, but you weren't vaccinated, so now I get to go. That needs to be the requirement.
I controlled what I could control.
You need to be vaccinated in order to go.
So it is what it is. So but no, I'm excited about the Olympics. I really am. Really am. So
I just want to cut up. I just want to see us out there. Right. I want to see Simone Biles doing her thing. Like I know
when is the gymnastics Olympic trials? It's got to be this week. Today. It's this week. Okay.
I mean, as we're recording, it'll be this Friday. So so the day this comes out, it was yesterday.
Yeah. So I'm excited. But well, community. Hopefully you're safe out there. Hopefully you're controlling what you can control. Wear your mask if you need to. If you don't want to get a vaccine, we don't need you getting sick. And if you got the vaccine, still take care of yourself. Still wash your hands, wash your legs, and wash your ass. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.